Let's get together and go to Sandals!
Oh! Hello, friends!
Hey, everybody. We have exciting news today.
We do have very exciting news today. We're here at the home all five.
But not for long.
As you may have just ascertained, we are going to
Sandals!
Jamaica.
And
at
Sandals, Jamaica,
when anyone says, hey, man, everyone says, hey, man, back.
And we're going to be. We will be doing that a lot. So we've been to Sandals a few different times, different locations, getting off the ship and just going for a day pass and kind of touring around and showing you guys. But this time is going to be super different. We're actually going to be going and staying there, legit staying there. Like, we'll have a room and we'll be doing everything.
Yes.
And we'll have time to do everything. So it's just really exciting. We love sandals. We love selling sandals. We love working with sandals. Our clients only have wonderful things to say when they go. So we're really excited to be finally experiencing this for ourselves. And it's kind of special how this came to be.
We received a phone call, and it was from one of our, not even our like local business development manager with Sandals, on the travel agent side of things we're talking here, but someone like for the whole region said, hey, how are you doing? You guys came up on our radar. Your video at Montego Bay specifically
Basically invited us to come out to another Sandals location and do our thing and actually experience it since we hadn't yet. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really cool opportunity. We're really grateful for it. And it's perfect timing because, you know, we can't go on a cruise right now and stuff like that. But Sandals is something that we can all do if we're trying to get back to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Sandals is an awesome option right now. And I'm just really excited. It's just really cool. It's cool that we were invited to something, and it's just cool that we have the opportunity to show you something new and different and have that offering on our channel. So, yay!
And thank you for making that one of our top 5 most watched videos ever in the small history of our channel. That Sandals Montego Bay video was the one that kind of got their attention there.
Now, the specific location we're going to is Sandals Royal Plantation, which is in Jamaica, and it's in Ocho Rios. And it's actually one of the smaller locations, but it's also one of the most exclusive locations. It's not one of the places where you can visit if you're staying at one of the other locations. You can't like go back and forth between. You can only go to it if you're staying there.
The whole resort itself has less than 75 rooms, and they are all suites. And they are all ocean view.
Yeah.
And they are all butler.
I think this is gonna be like the fanciest thing we've ever done.
Yes, for sure.
Like the most like
We're so fancy.
I guess
We didn't
know
already know.
now.
Hey, look at us. Who'd have thought, huh?
Not me.
Now, because we will be traveling in this time of COVID-19 still, there were some extra requirements that we had to do to be able to travel to Jamaica.
Testing that had to be done. Some extra documents that we needed. As of right now, we're leaving from Miami and we're heading down to Miami tomorrow, and then we're flying out the next day. So just to kind of give you some timeline, but we've had to take care of some things kind of previously, and we did document that. So we want to show you kind of our process of how we got to now. Okay, Matt, what are we doing today?
Well, we have to get tested for COVID-19 as part of the regulations to travel to Jamaica. You have to have because we're in a high-risk area, the United States of America.
Right.
Currently, at the time of making this video and the time of our travels, the requirement to visit Jamaica is that you have to have a negative PCR test within 10 days of your travel date.
Right. So for example, we're doing it 10 days out. So today is day number 1. And then the 10th day will be the day that we travel.
Well, the thing is that most of these tests take 2 to 3 days to get the results. So that's why we're doing it so far in advance, is because we want to leave plenty of time for that.
Now, we are getting our tests taken at Walgreens, but I think there's several different avenues you can do it. And this is what test is this called? The PCR?
Yes.
PCR test. So, and I think this might be applicable when we do cruise again, so this might be kind of just good information to know. And we don't know that for sure, but just it might be. And how it functions for Walgreens, at least, is that you do not go inside. You go through the drive-through. That's the pharmacy window right there. It's just hard to see because of the sun. So we go through the pharmacy window, and then we will administer our own test. Like the pharmacist through the window will show us how to do it. It's a nasal swab kind of situation.
Yeah.
So he'll or she will show us how to do it, and then we administer it, and then we give it to them, and then we wait for the results to come back. We thought it might be helpful for you to see this because for a lot of travel right now, it's very necessary for you to do a COVID test, whether or not you're showing symptoms or not, because we don't show any symptoms. That's not why we're here. We're doing it just for travel, just as you just have to do it as a precaution.
Right. Just check the regulations and requirements for wherever you're traveling, obviously at the time, you know, not right when you go to travel, but a little bit before, so you know what you need to have done, because at the time of this video, that's the requirement, and that's specifically for Jamaica, but it could be different for other areas or other times.
As of today, to go to Jamaica, we need a COVID test 10 days prior to travel, and that's what we're accomplishing today.
Yeah.
Take out what?
The tube and the swab.
The tube and the swab.
Okay. Which is
Okay, this one?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead and open up the swab.
Open up
You're not
the
touching the cotton, just hold it that down, okay?
Okay. Opening the swab.
And don't touch the cotton.
And don't touch the cotton.
Go ahead and turn it about an inch in the nostril or until the cotton disappears.
Okay.
Go ahead and insert it.
Inch into the nostril.
Rotate it a couple times, making sure you're touching the corner.
Like this corner.
Rotate it. Yeah, and then you're going to repeat it on the second nostril.
Okay. So an inch in the nostril.
Alright.
Move it around a couple times.
Alright, I want you to go ahead and open up the tube when you're done.
Like, does the whole swab need to be covered?
The whole swab doesn't need to be covered. Just if it's in there, that's
Yeah,
good.
just an inch. Yeah,
Just an inch. Yeah, that's good.
Touching the
Okay.
cornice, right. Open up the, yeah, and place it face down.
And then
Yep.
down like that.
And then make sure it's tight.
Make sure it's tightly sealed. And place it in the bag and make sure the bag is tightly sealed as well.
In the bag.
Alright, there's the screw box right here.
Oh, okay.
You're going to move forward
Okay.
and lift the lid and place it in there.
Okay.
And that's it.
That's it? All right.
That's it. You're all set.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was super simple.
That was super simple.
Sorry if you got a weird angle of me. The camera, I have to hold the camera on the dash. And it fell when I took my hand off the dash to test. So that's why you got the lap view. But that was really easy. It's literally just sticking a Q-tip in your nose and wiggling it around and then putting it in a little tube and a little tube with some liquid in it, and then putting it back in the baggie.
Yeah, and I would say like no pain whatsoever. I would say like just very, very mild, for me, very mild discomfort, just because it kind of tickles. It's just
Right.
kind of weird to have something up in your nose, but
It's really, honestly, I think I stuck it up further than it needed to be, because I was worried about I don't want to get a test back saying like, oh, we did not get an accurate sample, you know, like I don't want anything like that. So I wanted to make sure like you got my inner nostril.
so she said just put it in about an inch. As long as the whole cotton swab was in your nostril, you're good to go.
Okay, upon looking at the paper that they gave us that I guess kind of gives the instructions, we just listened to the pharmacist and took her instructions, but you look and it's the same thing. You take the swab out of the packet, you don't touch the cotton part, open the top of the little vial, and then here's a picture of how far you have to stick it in your nose. So not that far, and it specifically says The swab does not need to be inserted far, just until the tip of the swab is no longer visible. So that wasn't like extremely clear, but that is the case. So yeah, that's how far. You don't have to try to scratch your brain like I did. But yeah, I think we'll get the results via online whenever they're ready.
Yes.
And I guess wherever you go, they'll give you the information for that. I'm sure it's different labs based on, depending on where you go to get the test and everything.
Yeah.
Granted that everything goes well and everything like that, we should have our results and know that we are good to travel, or not good to travel, but hopefully that we're very good to travel in about 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, that seems to be the average. So we're not quite sure yet if they're gonna, I would assume, would send us an email to let us know if the results are ready. Somehow we obtain this information online, and once we do, and once we see it, and once we know how it is, of course we'll let you know, and we'll show you what we can.
Yes, so we will hopefully see you in 2 to 3 days.
I come bearing news.
Oh?
Our tests are consisting in or characterized by the absence rather than the presence of distinguishing features. In other words, they're negative.
Yay! We're healthy!
We can go. We can go.
That's such a relief.
Yes.
Like, I wasn't expecting anything different because we haven't been around anybody. Like, I certainly would think that we wouldn't have COVID from not being around anybody, but I think just because it's like an added stipulation, it's like...
Nice to not have a false positive as well.
Oh yeah, that too, because that's possible.
Yep.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, now it's like real.
Now it's real.
Now we get to go. Like.
Let's go! All right, so now that we've received our negative test results, we have another step that we need to do before traveling to Jamaica. And once again, let's make very clear that these are the current requirements. It could very well be different by the time you're looking to go. But that's what's currently going on right now, is that we need to go on and submit a travel authorization form. So it's going to require us putting in information, and then they will tell us whether or not we're permitted to travel to Jamaica. Now this needs to be done within 5 days of your date of travel. So it was 10 days for the test, the COVID test, 5 days for the travel authorization form. We're now within that window, so we're going to go ahead and do that here. We're just going to go to visitjamaica.com, and you see right here on the landing page, there's this little splash pop-up that says a travel authorization is now required. So we click the link, find out more, and apply here. And that's going to bring up all of this different information about traveling to Jamaica in the COVID-19 era, including testing requirements for people who are in high-risk areas or coming from high-risk areas.
And just to make note, USA is one of those places. Something I do want to pay note to that I didn't realize, it says right here that you only have to get this test if you're 12 years of age or over, which I didn't realize. So I guess if you're under the age of 12 and you're traveling, you don't have to get a COVID test. At least for Jamaica specifically.
I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so I don't quite understand that, but I guess that might be helpful to people who are traveling with children. And also, just a separate thing, right here is a link for the test date calculator. Now, of course, that's for the testing that we did the other day, not what we're doing right now. But you can go into that, put the date you're going to be arriving, and it will tell you the earliest date that you can go get that test.
This is very, very specific to Jamaica, so just keep that in mind. If you're going to a different Sandals location, a different island, it might be completely different.
Let's go back to what we came for, which is ready to start your Jamaica travel journey. You bet we are. Get your travel authorization here.
Let's go get that dino.
And now it's going to bring this form up here. So it's going to give you again the reminder that if you're coming from a high-risk area, you need to have that COVID-19 PCR antigen test if you are 12 years of age or over, and the stipulations that are required with that. The negative test result must be presented in order to complete check-in for a flight. They want you to know. So the first thing you need to do is put in your email address. So now you're asking, who are you completing this form for? And you would choose yourself if it's for yourself, obviously, or someone else, maybe if it's a child or something like that. So the country of residence, you put it in. Now we're putting United States. And again, another reminder that you need to have that test done. So now we have traveler information. As you can see, it's going to keep a running tally up here. So this is 2 out of 6 for that. So now you're going to start putting in your personal information. Of course, we're not going to show all of this because it's personal information, but
Personal.
your address, your full name, your occupation, date of birth. You would need to put in your return flight information here, phone number, passport number, countries you visited in the last 6 weeks, and emergency contact, and anyone who's traveling with you. Now, this is important, as you'll see when we click this later on, that even if you click how many people are traveling here with you and put in their information, you still need to submit a separate authorization form for each person. So you note it on yours, but it still needs to be done separately for them.
Even if you do not need a COVID test, like let's say a family and there's a 8-year-old doesn't need to take a COVID test, they still need to do an authorization form.
I believe so.
Same way like on a cruise, how each individual person has to do a set sail pass.
We've completed part 2, which was our personal information. As soon as we hit submit over there, it brings us to part 3, the health status and questionnaire. So this is just, as it would indicate, going to ask you some simple questions. So we'll go over them here really quickly because there's only a few of them. So first question, do you have any symptoms of illness?
No.
Do you have any chronic medical conditions?
No.
Have you been in a healthcare facility that cares for persons who may have had COVID-19 within the last 14 days?
No.
Did you provide care for patients with COVID-19 within the last 14 days?
No. Is that like if you work in the medical profession?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Have you knowingly been in contact or close proximity with anyone confirmed to have tested positive for COVID-19 or suspected to have COVID-19?
No and no.
And is your usual work related to any of these? You click the little select here and it's going to bring up the drop-down menu. Healthcare worker, cruise ship worker, EMTs or paramedics, nursing home, penal institution, or none of the above?
None of the above. I only work with you and our secretary.
And that's going to bring us up to the dude surfing in the nice Jamaica trunks there.
Whoa! You should get some of those.
Now, this is the intended stay information. So where are you going to be staying while you're in Jamaica? So for us, everyone has the options here: hotel, villa/apartment, private home, or guest house. Of course, we're going to be hotel. And then it brings up a whole list of hotels you might be staying at. So, of course, we're going to scroll down to Sandals Royal Plantation.
Yeah. It seems like, as of right now, like, you can't just, like, go and, like, figure things out when you get there. Like, you have to make prior arrangements.
Exactly, yeah. Step 5 out of 6 is the consent. You have to consent to knowing all these things like travel costs, that if you fall ill while you are in the country, you need to be prepared for paying for testing, medical services, hospital services, medical transportation services, medical evacuation services, quarantine/isolation facilities, and of course following the governing laws and regulations. So all those different things you either have to consent yes or no. Pretty sure if you say no, you're going to get denied. So if you're not willing to agree to all this, you're probably not going to go. And then a declaration here. I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. I solemnly and sincerely declare that the information furnished by me in this application pursuant to the Disaster Risk Management Enforcement Measures No. 4 order or any subsequent order is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. I make this declaration knowing that if I fail to furnish any required information or knowingly furnish false information, I commit an offense and shall be liable to a fine of up to 1 million Jamaican dollars or imprisonment up to 12 months.
Oof.
So, it's not a game.
I solemnly swear that I am completely up to only good and will only be good when I'm in your country, Jamaica.
Then we will click yes. Bring up number 6, which is immigration/customs C5 card. This has some personal information on it as well. So you're kind of just going over the things that you already put in, ensuring that everything is correct and everything looks right. And then you're actually going to have to put in your other flight information. Pretty sure this is for your arrival flight, as well as how many pieces of luggage you have, both carry-on, hand luggage, or luggage sent by air or sea freight. So they want to know what you're bringing with you.
That's interesting. So it kind of makes sense why you can only do this so many days prior, because you kind of like really have to have your ducks in a row in order to complete this. Like, I mean, you have to know down to the luggage, how much luggage you're bringing.
Right, so this is just below, same page, just below where the personal information is in the flight and luggage. And then you're going to put what you're bringing. So any fruits, plants, cut flowers, vegetables, soil, meat, live animals, organisms, honey, wildlife products, plant material, food, animal products, or live birds. Pharmaceuticals, chemicals, narcotics, and other illicit drugs or biological substances.
Definitely not.
Radioactive or nuclear substances. Hulk smash. Of course, this kind of almost sounds like stuff you would answer leaving, but I think they want to know what you're bringing in. You know, custom stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't really know if that had any COVID relevance, or maybe they're just doing that stuff to kind of like streamline the process.
Might expedite things once you arrive in Jamaica.
Just because there is so many extra steps, like with COVID, like
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to take care of some other stuff too, since you have to do this anyways.
And then, so this is where the spouse and children are 18 accompanying you. My information's there because I put that earlier.
Because you and me spouse.
Once again, in red letters, each accompanying passenger is required to apply for a travel authorization and complete a similar form. So we're going to click submit.
Submit.
Loading. Application submitted. Your application will be processed immediately and the outcome will be sent to your registered email address. Now we hit OK. And just like that,
Am I approved?
here's your submitted application status. Approved.
Approved.
You have been approved to travel to Jamaica. Please download and save the travel authorization confirmation.
And at least as of right now, you do not have to upload your negative COVID test in order to do this process, or nor do you need to upload it to any avenue with Jamaica. You just have to bring it with you to the airport. That's our understanding. But we do need to also have this travel authorization printed. So we'll show you what that looks like.
So here it is, travel authorization for Jamaica. Your application has been approved. You are hereby authorized to travel to Jamaica. You see this right here. Negative COVID-19 test result is required. They will not let you forget that. Please retain this travel authorization and your negative COVID test certificate for the duration of your stay in Jamaica. So don't fly in, get to Sandals or wherever you're going, and then throw this away. You want to keep it the whole time. All the information here, information about the resilient corridor, what the different traveler categories are, all that stuff, all type of control measures that they have put in place in Jamaica, you can find on visitjamaica.com.
And I'll put a link in the description of this video to visitjamaica.com in case you are looking into traveling to Jamaica. You can read all this stuff specifically and you can see everything that we're seeing. Yay! I got approved! So yeah, pretty easy, right? Not too much to it. The testing went well. The authorization form, pretty easy. So yeah, that was kind of like our gamut of things that we had to do like pretty ahead of time. Also, say hi to Icky. So yeah, that was like pretty much all the stuff we had to do like not very far in advance, but decently far in advance.
Right.
Like things that had a time stamp to it. Now that we're back in the present, we kind of just wanted to show you our finishing up, getting ready. There are a few different things that we're packing. One, getting on a plane with COVID going on, or two, just kind of specific to Sandals in general that maybe be something to consider. Okay, first and foremost, obviously, passports, because we're flying internationally, which we've actually never done before.
That's right, our first time.
Yeah, I mean, we've been internationally several times, but via cruise ship, so this is our first international flight, so that's kind of exciting. Important other documentation that we need that we've kind of mentioned earlier, but I just wanted to highlight it again because it's super important, is one, our test results for COVID, getting a negative COVID test. We need it for both of us. And then we have that travel authorization form that you saw us working on previously. We printed out all that information, so that's ready to go for the airport. So this is like all of our sanitation, staying clean and safe gear that we have. We have our wet wipes, which are antibacterial, just to kind of like clean surfaces. I'm thinking like especially on the plane. We have our disposable masks and we have our reusable masks. I'm thinking I might use the disposable one in the airport just because, like, you know, that's such a high traffic area. Just like when we're done with the airport, then I can just throw it away and be done with it. And then have like the fresh ones for when we're actually at Sandals, the reusable ones. And then we have our hand sanitizer. We have like our little travel ones. And look, the child. But also TSA now allows you to take up to a 12-ounce hand sanitizer
in your carry-on because of COVID. So usually the rule with airlines, if liquids are going to be in your carry-on, it can only be 3.4 ounces or below container for liquids. They are allowing up to a 12 ounce of hand sanitizer, but it will go through additional screening supposedly.
All right, so couple different things, especially for me here, going to Sandals versus when you've seen us going on a cruise. So if you haven't noticed, I'm a casual cat. I do not like dressing up. To me, like putting on pants is dressing up. I always wear athletic shorts. Sandals does have a requirement for the gentlemen, specifically ladies off the hook. They can wear whatever they want.
Yeah, women don't really have a dress code when we're talking about the restaurant specifically.
Yeah.
There's a dress code for the men, but the women's don't really have a dress code. So this is the dealio for the men.
Now, I want to make clear this is not for every restaurant. So when you're planning on visiting Sandals, check out the different locations and the different restaurants they have there, the different venues. Some will be resort casual, which means you can basically wear whatever as long as it's not obscene. Then you're going to have resort evening, though. When you see resort evening dress code, that's dress pants or jeans for men, long or short sleeve dress shirts with or without a collar.
The choice is yours.
Dress shoes or sandals. Appropriate. So I have to prepare for that because at least one of the venues that we're going to probably be dining at will require that in the evening. So...
But the other restaurants, you can wear shorts too and t-shirts.
Yeah.
I think it's only one restaurant, and we'll pay specific mind to that when we're actually there and everything.
That's what I'm not so psyched about, but I'm willing to do to get delicious food. What I am psyched about is breaking out these bad boys again.
Yay, snorkeling! We haven't been in so long!
It's been too long. Far too long.
And they have snorkels there you can use, but we're taking our snorkels because we prefer those.
Yes.
We prefer those masks. But yeah, just to keep in mind that they do have some I don't know, activities like that, like snorkeling, or they do have basketball or something that you might need tennis shoes for. We'll be bringing our water shoes just because that's always good to have when you're going to be snorkeling or
always recommend that.
Yeah, in the water, just because you don't know what the sand or the terrain's going to be like in the water. But otherwise, snorkel and water shoes are things we would normally take. We have our safety clean gear and our extra documents and stuff like that. But otherwise, we're going to be basically packing for how we do on a cruise.
Yeah.
It's tropical, casual kind of wear. Other than that, I think we're pretty ready.
And we'll be taking all of our new camera equipment. So
Yay!
we have quite a bit. A lot more than we used to have. So that'll be cool to show all that. All right. Bags are packed. Tests are negative.
Mm-hmm.
Forms are authorized.
Folded and in the bag, and I think we're ready.
We are ready to go, and we hope you are too. We hope you'll join us along through the entire journey, starting with the next video, where we'll be in Miami, getting ready to fly down to Montego Bay. That's not where we're staying, but that's where we're flying. Then shuttle transportation over to Ocho Rios and the Royal Plantation Resort.
Yeah, and we'll definitely show you that whole process and what it's like in the airport and flying right now and getting to Jamaica and everything involved with that. I'm really excited. I'm excited to show you guys new things and new experiences, and I'm just excited to have them again.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful we have the opportunity to.
Definitely. So it'll be a great time,
Yeah.
and we hope you'll come along with us. And as always, we'll remind you that we are travel agents and our services are always complimentary. So if you're interested in booking your own special getaway to any of the fine Sandals locations all around the Caribbean, we can do that. Or if you want to take the family to beaches, we can do that as well. Please feel free to reach out via the travel agent information at the end of this video. Once again, we hope we'll see you along with our trip down to Jamaica, Sandals, Royal Plantation. Until then, we'll sign off as we always do. Happy travels!
Bye!